and Mabel.
In the moment.
Today we have Ralph Reed with us.
Super special.
What an honor to be here to interview Ralph about a real hard subject to talk about, especially for men. So, would you tell us what you want to talk about and why you feel like this message needs to be told? Like your story needs to be told.
So as most of you know that I love running. 2 weeks ago I was out running 13 miles. And when I run, that's when I hear from God. And he told me it is time to tell my story because it's on depression. And depression is hard for men to deal with because as men we feel we need to be in control all the time. So after that run, I just came back and told Sheila that there's somebody out there, whether it be a man or a woman, there's somebody out there that needs to hear my story to help them get over depression. Not that I don't feel you ever completely get away from depression, but you get to where you know when it's coming on and you can deal with depression.
So when would you say, Ralph, was the first time you recognized, wow, I'm depressed?
20 years ago, 18 years ago, something like that, I was going through a divorce. And I felt like my world had just totally was gone away from me. And then the voices start in your head and it tells you you're not worth it, it's not worth living and all that. And one day I drive out the house with the gun in my truck because I couldn't take it no more, and I'm like, I'll just end this. But in that time, as I was driving, something kept telling me, this is not the way you can end this. You have 2 kids, you cannot end it this way. And depression was still there, but I managed to walk away and put the gun away.
So during that time, would you say that there were people that came alongside you to help you, or did you do this all on your own?
For about 4 years, I battled it on my own. Nobody had a clue that I was going through depression. So I battled it. It wasn't right there till the end where people started to realize. And I have a couple of close friends that stepped in and kind of walked with me through it. I tried pushing them away also. Turned to drugs and alcohol, thought that was the way to go.
So tell us when you realized, I can't beat this alone.
It was around May 23rd,
Wow.
2004.
Ooh.
And I was sitting in church and I was like, I can't continue. God, you're the only one. And that day I said, that's it. My life has to change. I'm giving it to God. And that's when things started to get better for me.
So it was like a total surrender of your control, or what you thought you were controlling.
Yes.
And so would you say since 2004, you've never felt that depression since?
I've never felt it to the point that I was at, but I have dealt with it time and time again. But now I kind of know when I'm feeling it coming on. I can actually feel it coming on. Sheila can spot it when it comes on. Sometime I tell her it's coming on. And so the thing is that if you have somebody you can talk with, and it'll help you to get through it. Anytime I hear of somebody that commits suicide because they battle depression, the next week is extremely hard for me. Even if I don't know the person, because I have been there. People talk about, I don't understand how someone could take their life. They have so much. But when you're at that point, none of that other stuff even comes through your mind. That just the voices and everything in your head, you just want them to stop.
So would you say once you were able to share it, was it easier for you to walk away from those voices because you were sharing what those voices were saying to somebody else?
Or the feelings that came with it?
Yes, it's. I feel like depression is part of the devil, and isolation is where he gets you. So until you turn to your best friend, your wife or husband, God, somebody, you have to turn to somebody to help walk through it, because isolation is not the way to get through depression.
So you said that you stayed in isolation for like 4 years. Why was it so hard for you to admit to someone that that's how you felt?
Because most men growing up are taught that the man is to take care of themselves, take care of their family. And if something happens, something hurts, something goes wrong, you fix it and you just continue to move on.
Mm.
So depression, you push that aside and you hide it and you say, okay, I'll just keep moving on.
So do you think, I know that you had a cousin that committed suicide, and so obviously depression is something that your family dealt with throughout the years. Do you feel like breaking the silence and talking about it is going to help the next generation to be able to talk about it sooner?
Yes, after I realized that I had depression, I realized watching my mom, what she went through, that she battled depression, and nothing was ever done about it. At that time, we didn't know. We just always thought, well, she's in a bad mood today. But now that I can look back, I can see the signs. I have family and friends that battle depression. But I do think that by talking about it, and people open up about it is the way to move forward with it.
So it doesn't hold the power once you start talking about it?
No, not at all.
But before you talked about it, did you feel like if I admit this, it's going to make it more real? And so there was a part of you that was scared to admit this?
Yes, because I thought it was only me. I mean, I didn't think other people dealt with this. I thought there was something wrong with me. And it's like, because I'd never been around people I never knew I was around people that were depressed.
Oh, that's good.
So I thought there was an issue with me. I thought maybe I was actually starting to go crazy. But yeah, once it it came out and started talking about it, then it did make it a lot easier.
Were there a lot of people that opened up to you that said, man, I have felt the same way?
Most people won't open up about it. And that's part of the reason that I think God wanted me to talk today is, Millie and Mabel's great people to talk with. If you're a guy and you're not comfortable talking with them, I mean, instant message me. I will be more than willing to talk to you. If it's something I feel is beyond my control, I know other people we could talk with. You know, Pastor Josh, a good friend of mine, I think would be more than willing to help anybody. But no, I'm willing to talk with anybody that's, you know, going through a hard time.
And this is really the first time that I've only heard you talk about it this open in front of other people once. And so I would say that this is probably one of the first times that you've been able to kind of fight back the fear and feel like, even though I'm afraid, there's other people that can be saved because of this one message.
Yes. Like I said, I wasn't really on my schedule to do a long run 2 or 3 weeks ago on that Saturday morning. And I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm doing God is Great half marathon. And I hadn't run a half marathon in a few months. I hadn't trained, and I just took off running. And part of me is like, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. And I'm running, and it's like God started talking to me, and my story came to, and I tried to push it aside, and it's like, no, you need to share, because there are other people that need to hear this. There's definitely one person out here that you're going to change their life.
And so, just to let you know, we had asked Ralph, 4 or 5 times, please let us interview you.
kept
And he
saying
no. And he came back that day from that run, and Sheila called me and said, you'll never guess. I said, what? She said, Rito agreed to an interview.
And I think it's because there is such a desire in you to see men
Yes.
be able to walk free and not live in bondage for 4 and 5 years because of this. So now, let's fast forward to 15 or 16 years later, and it comes up every now and then. And so tell me some of the steps that you take when you immediately feel like, okay, something's going on.
I might go for a run. I might get on the spin bike. Exercise does me a world of good when I feel myself getting down. And I normally go all out when I do that. And it's like when I'm done, it's like it's gone. You know, sometimes me and Sheila talk about it. But to open up to me is, you know, is the way to stop it from going too far.
Because then you feel like you're accountable to somebody
Yes.
once you've talked about it.
Wow. Ralph, I cannot thank you enough for sharing this story. And there is not a doubt in my mind that there are men that I'm thinking about that have never admitted that they deal with depression. And they have. And I think your vulnerability today is huge. Because I think it's going to open up a conversation for men and women alike that feel like they've got to be strong for their families. That it is okay to say, this is where I'm at. And it doesn't make you weak. In fact, it makes you even stronger to be able to say, this is what I'm dealing with. I need help.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you. I love you.
Thank you again.
All right.
So make today a
Breakthrough
breakthrough day.